Anyone here remember the Tweenies? It's a really odd British children's show which ran from September 6, 1999 to July 24, 2002. Despite its seemingly short lifespan, the show ran for about a total of 390 episodes. Yeah, I'm not even joking. The show, for those who haven't seen it, centers around a group of 4 preschool-age Pac-Man looking like mutants named the Tweenies, who have fun, sing songs, and learn lessons in a nursery ran by 2 caretakers named Max and Judy. The main 4 Tweenies consist of 5-year-old Bella, being the eldest of the group, who is a bit rude to the other Tweenies, and the 4-year-old Milo, who loves football, 4-year-old Fizz, who is the best friends with Bella, and lastly 3-year-old Jake, who is the youngest of the group. As well as being Milo's best friend, Milo is also really hard on for Jake. Of course, when there's the owners of the nursery, Max and Judy, who serve as the only adult characters featured in the show, although Max's sister Polly occasionally makes an appearance, as well as Jake's mother, and some other adult characters including Bella's grandmother. Max is very kind of an old man who has 2 pet dogs named Doozles and Lizzies, who can't talk very well. Judy, on the other hand, is just an Irish drunk who likes cooking. She's probably the most bland out of the characters, all honesty. The show was cancelled in 2002 for unknown reasons, but from what a lot of people don't know was that the show was originally indeed to have an 8th season. In fact, the season premiere was actually finished and fully scripted and filmed, but was never showed in reality though. And the show was cancelled maybe just so it could be aired on television. From what I have heard, the episode's premise involved Max getting presented by the other Tweenies, as well as Judy, and this causes him to lose his temper in a way that has never been shown before. The title of the episode was also given the name Max Loses It, which was a typical 20-minute episode. I wanted to see that episode because I love the Tweenies, and I wanted to spark some nostalgic memories, so I emailed CBBBs about the episode. They emailed me back with, "We're actually surprised someone knows about the unreleased Season 8 premiere. Since you're such a good little boy, we'll send you a copy of the episode so you can see why Season 8 never came to be. Just prepared because the things you will see will totally eat your toenails and call us horse eaters. CBBs." 3 weeks later, I received a plush toy of Max with diarrhea all over it. There's even a small zipper on the back of the plush toy, and I unzipped it to reveal a small blank DVD disc which had been hidden inside the plush toy. I threw the plush toy in my basement and examined the disc. It was a bland, blank disc with nothing on it. I headed to my TV and popped the disc into my PlayStation 3. Apparently the disc did not agree with my PS3 as it caused the console to make horrifying sounds. It sounded like someone was scratching a chalkboard, and then a farting into a microphone. I took off that, however, the DVD set itself. There was no menu or commercials given by the fact that this is an unreleased episode, and the main theme song began. The theme song was completely normal, if that was until Bella went to introduce herself. The screen just cuts to black and then came back on with the main title card. The title card read, Max Loses It, and it showed a picture of Max putting his hands on his head as if he was trying to shut out some noises. The episode started off with the Tweenies singing a song as they usually do at the start of each episode. They sang a weird rap song which made racial slurs, swear words, and drug references, and even sexual references all down here. This made me sick. I ended up crapping myself. I paused the episode and went upstairs to change my pants, and I came back down wearing my pants and shirt as well, and resumed watching the episode. After the rap song, Max was shown watering some flowers in the garden when Jake went out to speak to him, this along with Milo. "What you doing, Max?" Jake asked while sucking on Milo's head. Sure, why not?" "Just watering some flowers, Jakey," Max explained. The pair asked Max if they could play a game of tag, to which Max agreed with as long as they played quietly and carefully. Jake and Milo agreed to this and began playing tag. However, Milo ended up crashing into Max, causing him to trip over and have a watering can fall on him and spilled all the water all over his face, which was really weird. Music played in the background. "Sorry, Max," Milo yelled while running back inside the nursery along with Jake behind him. "It's fine, Milo. I know you didn't mean to do it. Just be careful next time," Max said as he dried himself off with a towel, which made him angry for some reason. Then he had it there. Max walked inside the nursery. threw the towel onto the table kitchen. Max, can you help me and Fizz with the painting? Bella asked as Max made his way over to the table where she and Fizz were sitting. Max helped them with their painting by drawing a picture of a big muscle man who looked a cross between John Cena and Arthur Morgan. Max then went to the kitchen and threw some disgusting-looking chicken onto the oven to cook. Suddenly, Judy appeared in the kitchen and yelled, "Max, we're out of paint!" To which Max was given a small sigh and said, "Okay, Judy, I'll get some now." Max went out to head out the door with Doodles and Izzles, so his complaining named him for the walk. However, they were on cracks, so they ended up dragging Max out the door before they didn't even say his goodbyes. It then showed the two dogs dragging Max down the street. As the song, I guess that's why they call it Blues, by Elton John began to play in the background. Then the episode played what seemed to be like for a bit, with Judy pressing the Tweenies clock by saying, "Tweenie clock, where will it stop?" The clock stopped on story time, which the book that which Judy read to the Tweenies was 50 Shades of the Shadow Reader. Okay, this is getting weird. Sometime later, Max finally returns with his clothes drenched in paint. Apparently Max had gotten the paint, and while he was walking back to the nursery dogs and saw a squirrel, they began to chase the squirrel, and it was causing Max to trip over and get paint all over himself. Max then realized that he even had left the oven on. He then goes back to the kitchen to only see that it was on fire. He pulls out the fire extinguisher and puts the fire out with it. He pulls out the chicken from earlier to see that it had been burned to a crisp. "Hey Max, can you?" Fizz's words were then cut short as Max dropped by a kick at her face, causing her to cry. "What did you do that for?" Judy yelled at the top of her lungs. "I've had enough of this. You guys keep forcing me to do your crap, and I'm sick of it," Max yelled as he pulled out a machine gun. "What are you doing?" all the Tweenies, including Judy, cried out. "Something that should have been done a long time ago," Max said, as he let the fire on the machine gun, brutally killed all the characters. Max then chopped them all up with a butcher knife and threw their body parts in the oven. Once that he was done, he took them out, and he had himself a nice dinner. Once he was done eating, Max then placed the plate down on the floor, and he sat back on his chair with a glass of wine in his hand. Max then said, "This is the good life." Then the episode ended with the normal credits, but Max only being the character showing dancing them to the other Tweenies being dead. Needless to say, I was disgusted and quite frankly heartbroken over the episode that I just watched. I emailed the CBBS and asked them about why would they make such a disgusting episode. They emailed me back with, "Sorry love, we sent you the wrong copy. The copy of the premiere you received was just a small joke of the video we made for a Christmas party. Turns out the real premiere is completely lost in the vaults deep inside the caves of Arizona. We do hope this explains everything, and we're very sorry we freaked you out. Please don't go to the public with this episode or else we will find you and kill you. Lots of love, CBBS." I decided to call 999 as I needed someone who can help me sue those people at CBBS. A single policeman arrived at my door, introducing himself as Detective Milton. I showed Milton the episode, and after we were done watching it, he said, "I believe this will help you in a lawsuit against CBBS. I was able to ask him something when all of a sudden my basement door opened up and the Max plush toy came in. It had been silent for the entire time." Milton got up and yelled, "Max, on the behalf of the government of the United Kingdom, Cornwall, Curlstein, and Tar, I'm here to arrest you," Milton said, throwing the Tommy gun at me. "Give them the count to 5 and then give them everything." "Actually, F it. Let him have it," Milton said as he pulled out his own Tommy gun. We began shooting the doll as it made its way towards us. The doll lunged towards Milton and stabbed him in the eye with a butcher knife, similar to the one in the episode. Milton died instantly from this, and the doll made its way towards me. Using all of my strength, I picked up the doll and threw it into my fireplace, and it burned to death. Once I was sure it was dead, I called 999 again and informed them of Milton's death. Some detectives arrived not long after questioning me and brought me to the corner to examine the body. Another week went by and I was at my front garden, giving some flowers to good water. Then a small red car pulled up against the pavement side. 2 men, well dressed in suits, got out of the car and made their way towards me. "Mr. Jello," one of the men asked. Yes," I said while turning his face to them. "CBB send their regards," he finished the other men and pulled out a large shotgun. Before I could react, the man shot me in the face. Since I died instantly from the blast and 2 men got back in the car and drove off, I lay there dead in my own garden. I have this to say. I think this teaches us that we should never search for lost media, or as we'll end up getting killed by hitmen, or at least in jail. I messed up, so did Milton, and so did the Tweenies in the episode. I think it's important that we learn something from our mistakes, and try not to make them yourself, because those men who want so much, life risking absolutely everything, but of course the guy who wants too little life might end up with nothing at all. And that, my little pretties, was Max Loses It, a Tweenies Lost episode funny pasta written by Matthew Bumford. My final thoughts on this story? Well, it's actually about time that I actually got to rereading this story, because when I first did it, and I did a rant afterwards, looking back on it, I really didn't like how that went out, so I ended up deciding to reread this, and I decided, instead of ranting on this, I decided to look into deeper about this story, and I have to say, it was actually really good and well made. Now, however, the fact that, Max would end up losing his marbles, we'll just put it that. And I could definitely see this being the case for a Tweenies episode, but yet again, I could definitely say why they would get a lot of backlash if they were to release it to this story. But, however, I'm gonna say right now that this story was absolutely amazing. Even though it's a funny pasta, it's not meant to be taken seriously. Now, I do regret ranting on this story, but in the past when I first narrated, but I'm gonna say right now, we all make mistakes in life. Like, in life, we do make mistakes from time to time, and do we regret them? Of course we do. Depending on what it is, I do regret ranting on this, and I wish I haven't. I wish I would have just looked into it deeper, but yet again, I didn't know who wrote it at the time, so that's kind of partly my fault for not knowing, but at the same time, I could kind of understand why Tweenies wouldn't release this episode. Now, this episode was like a British TV show, so I don't know too many British TV shows I've watched as a kid, because I grew up in Canada, so I think I might have saw this once or twice, maybe just once, but I could definitely say this episode was absolutely funny, especially now looking into it again. I actually found this story to be quite good. Now, I could definitely say it was actually pretty funny, so I could definitely say right now, I could definitely say that this story was absolutely is good. Though the paragraph structure was pretty good, I actually have to say, I could definitely see this being the case. Now, if anyone who knows Matthew Bumford should know that this story is absolutely amazing. Now, I did say it was terrible at first, but it's still pretty good, in my opinion. But I could definitely say that I have seen a couple of British TV shows like Charlie and Lola and Sooty and Co. being one of them. Now, about Sooty and Co., I would really like to see a funny pasta on that, Matthew Bumford. So if you could have the time to, write a funny pasta about Sooty and Co., I would really appreciate it. If you need a link to what the show is about, I can link it down. If you comment on the video, I can link it down if you like. But I could definitely say this story was absolutely amazing. And I definitely have to say, now, in regards to the good grammar, I could definitely say the grammar was pretty good. Even though I did regret saying, that this story sucks and all that. Well, I could definitely really regret doing that. But yet again, I didn't know Matthew Bumford at the time. But now I do. I ended up giving this a second chance. And I have to say, I could definitely see this being the case, especially for a pasta, funny pasta in this case. But yet again, the company would get a lot of backlash if they were to do that. But I could definitely say that the story was really good with the grammar, the sentence structuring, the storyline. Even though it's messed up in certain places, Max sitting there, killing all a bunch of the Tweenies and, cooking them alive and cooking them and stuff. Oh my goodness, this is just messed up, but at the same time, I definitely had to change some of the words because I didn't feel that they were necessary in my opinion, but the story was good nonetheless. It doesn't kill the story or anything, not like most creepypastas tend to do. Like, the sad thing about it is that creepypastas really don't tend to do, like, a whole lot of garbage that creepypastas do tend to do a lot of garbage nowadays, but I could definitely see, some of the stuff in there being good. But in my respect, I can actually see the story being the case if they were to sit there and, do all that. Now, I could definitely say right now that this story was pretty well done, in my opinion. I definitely could see the Tweenies doing, all these kinds of things when it comes to that. But I definitely have to say, I've never watched the Tweenies, so I don't really know the show. I have seen maybe a commercial of it, maybe once, but that's just about it. Probably only just one commercial, maybe two in this case, but at the same time, I really have to say that this show was pretty good. I do have to say this show is actually really good, but, I'm getting, a little bit, off topic right now, but this story was absolutely good. It doesn't go all over the place like most creepypastas do, like, let's just say Sweet Apple Massacre, for example. It didn't go all over the place, even though that one was just, ugh. At least to me, that was. But, okay. I guess I'm going to say right now that I have changed my opinion on this, saying that I hated it, now to love it. Now, if I could say one thing negative about this story, I can't really say anything negative about it, because this story was absolutely really good in retrospect. I actually can see this being the case, especially when it comes to, this story. I guess you could kind of say, that the story was good. Yeah, it is good, actually, to be completely honest. But I could definitely say, I can't really say anything negative about this story. I can't find anything negative about it. Well, like I said, back then, but we could just drop what happened. But I could definitely say I'm glad I gave this another chance, because this story was good. I didn't even look into it, but I definitely have to say that this story was a lot good, in my opinion. I've read a couple of Matthew Bumford stories in the past, but I remember this one being one of the first ones I've came across. But other than that, the story was pretty good, in my opinion. Even though I did say I didn't like it before, I'm changing it, so yeah. Anyways, I'm going to say right now that this is simply my own personal opinion. If you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regardless of these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be I'm going to give this one a 9. No, wait, not 9. Scratch it. I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. It's a great story, great concept. Messed up in my opinion too, especially for a funny pasta. But it's still good, I could definitely say. The story itself was pretty good, in my opinion. The grammar was well done and made. The sentence structuring worked out perfectly. Just basically everything about it was just flat out amazing. And I could definitely say there was a lot of time and effort into the story. Now, about what I said earlier for those who have came to my channel since last year, I do regret saying all this stuff, but yet again, we do make mistakes, like I said before. We all make mistakes in life, so we start out fresh, which is a very good thing, I can definitely say. But other than that, the story was absolutely amazing and well done. And I definitely have to say, you guys, I could definitely say this story was actually really good. In many ways I could count, this story was just, well, amazing. Okay, anyways, what did you all think about this funny pasta? I know you guys might not see this as a creepypasta, but I call it a funny pasta because I could see it as much a funny pasta. But anyways, what did you all think about this funny pasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so you guys won't miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out of here. And I will be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, and I'll see you all next time.